topics so far. Running power with Coach Saul and then periodization with Coach Jay. We are on a good roll.
Yes, Coach Burns. Thank you, Coach Jay. That was a very good topic. So at least we have the view of what coaches are looking when doing the planning of for their athletes. So,
and what to expect from the athlete itself. Don't make us as a magician. You have 6 weeks, you want to do it, you know, I'm saying, we just explained to you. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Coach Press Walks. Thank you.
We appreciate more the efforts of our coaches. Okay, thanks Coach Jay again. So guys, we'll go ahead with our next speaker. So we are honored to have him here today. Direct from Philippines, so he's based now in Clark. So our next speaker is a head coach of Cruise Control Multisports. He's a lifestyle management coach, a custom road and mountain bike biomechanics and ergonomist. He's also a triathlete, an IOC elite level triathlon solidarity train 10 Cup at University of Alberta. He's also a competitive cyclist since 1991. He's also a collegiate level middle distance runner in UAAP. He's also a Bachelor of Science Engineering graduate at UP Diliman. And he is the head man of the Cruise Control Multisports. Guys, let's all welcome Coach Leian Cruz. Coach, welcome.
Hey, welcome. Oh, yeah, welcome. Hey. Oh, it's me already, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, go on. Floor is yours.
Okay, so Coach, what are we going to talk about today?
I think one of the most interesting topic that we have right now is
about my love life. Okay, so let's talk about my love life. It's very interesting. Thanks for inviting me. I listened thoroughly to Coach Saul and Coach Jay, subject matter specialist. But it's good. Anyway, I just wanted to add some twist in this webinar, and I think I only have 20 minutes, so let's time it. So everyone obviously are very, very good in the technical part of the sport. I've been in the sport for 30 years. So after being on the sport for 30 years, I decided perhaps I can shift my focus to the underdogs. Okay. So my specialty right now are the underdogs. If it may help, I can just show some slides, some PowerPoint slides. How do I do that?
Yes, go on, please.
Okay, let's do this.
You can use the share screen.
Share screen. Okay. Here we go. Okay, here we go. I just did a bunch of videos over here, but I'm gonna give you an idea. Remember, my priority right now is focusing on the underdogs, people who never thought they were going to be athletes, and primarily this one. Okay, so these are my projects now. Makes me happy traveling around the Philippines, trying to meet people who never thought that they could be athletes and perhaps change their lives. And we're using triathlon as a lifestyle sport to get them interested. So I think perhaps 50, 60, 70% of the participants in triathlons right now were not really athletes back in the days when they were young. And I think Philippines is getting better in terms of the economy. So there's a lot of extra cash to be put on health and wellness. Unlike before, when money was really steep, everyone just wanted to put food on their table. But right now, I think health and wellness is a big industry, and a lot of people are getting into it. Unfortunately, the biggest question will be sustainability. So I've used the sport as an excuse to get these guys moving. Okay, so let's just play this one, and I'm just gonna pause as we go along. Our clientele, this is what I do. the philosophy, I've done Stride before, Stride Power Meter. When they first launched their product, I was one of the first coaches who tested it. I'm also part of the Garmin Power Meter community. But based on what I see in reality, since 75% of the participants were not really athletes, I started to refocus my approach in the engine first. The objective is how can we shortcut the traditional mainstream training program into perhaps something more contracted. No? So here's an example. This guy came to me and with hypertension, very successful engineer, contractor, he builds hospitals. Very ironic. Went to the shop because he said he wanted to exercise, but we said that exercise is not going to heal his hypertension. This was his first day. He's not the most healthiest. And then on the 60th day, after fixing his... Dude, I can't believe your face. It's so different. Here's another guy. The left side of the screen is all how they started. And then on the next side, first day. Okay. You look there. Okay, I'm gonna take a photograph of you. And this was his 90th day. So even before we allowed him to buy a bike, we said, let's fix his stuff first. I mean, no more maintenance medicines. Blood chem should be perfect. So usually, even though if you've been on maintenance medicines for 10, 20 years, the objective is to reverse all of that. Before you even undergo any type of workouts, even before you start talking about power, even before you start talking about zones. I think it's very important for the individual to appreciate themselves first, like focus on themselves. So what we do is that we give them the confidence level by showing them how to transform themselves. And then after he fixed his health and I was very happy with the stats, then finally we got him a bike. He's not a biker, like literally I think he's a mayor in Bicol. Went to Manila, wanted to buy a bike. I said, let's fix the nutrition first. And then after that, we decided to make him a custom-made bike. Because I think one of the questions in one of Coach Jay's discussion was, what happens when an individual person, like an entrepreneur or a busy individual, works the normal days and you don't have time to do those 90K bike rides, and then you go to Ironman or Audax and you expect that you're going to be good, no? So we already know that's a normal situation. So to preempt the situation when you get tired fast on the bike or on the run, what we focus on is the posture and choreography. So you can see here, this guy literally zero experience in biking, like totally zero. It was his first day. This is the first time he saw his custom-made bike. The idea of a custom-made bike or a bike fitting is to force your body to assume a posture, and the result would be a lower heart rate when you execute the exercise, higher threshold, etc. Your chest together. So after the bike fitting the next day, in 24 hours, we teach him how to shift gears, how to climb hills, how to sprint. So this all happens in one weekend. Sprint, 4, 3. Not bad, right? Good, mission accomplished. So I think we're doing good, huh? So the idea is we want to reprogram the individuals before taking in all the other supplements that are available right now. What we do is that we go back to basics first so that they appreciate the basic of the sport before getting into the higher levels or making it more complicated. For a first-time road biker, doesn't even know how to shift, doesn't even know how to use pedals. And these are the normal clients that we encounter right now. A lot of people get into you can say fun runs. We see a lot of them. We see a lot of people playing basketball. We see a lot of people joining Zumbas. And yet, the question is, how come they never, drastically changed. So this guy just underwent the program first. Now he's running much better in 120 days. His performance would have erased 2 or 3 years worth of training in just 120 days. Same with this guy. He used to be, well, the photos would really show how they started. Got into the program. This is him. So that was his day one, because he said he wanted to do half Ironman, no full Ironman first. This guy, Mark Paco, he's been doing a lot of 70.3. So when I met him, I think he's already done 6 or 7. And then it just so happened that he saw our talk and found it unconventional. And I said, just sign up. If it doesn't work, then you get your money back guarantee. And then true enough, this was his body on the right side of the photo, the day of the full Ironman in Subic. And yeah, that's what he looked like. So to show his transformation, his body on the left side, 198, he's 46 years old. That's his body since he was in college, like literally, like when he was in college. He thought it was the normal thing. So when he went back to our program, I said, before you become a triathlete, we have to transform your body to a triathlete. If you want to be a cyclist, you have to transform your body first to be a cyclist. If you want to be a tennis player, the muscles involved are totally different. The physiology is totally different. Now, if you want to be a sumo wrestler, it's also totally different. So on the right side of the screen, that's him after, I think, 4 months into the program. And he finished the full Ironman in Subic, the first one. And if you notice, he's a lot younger. He looks like a kid, like his son, because there's a natural age reversing effect of the program. Same with this one. He's a corporate lawyer. So obviously, 15 years in maintenance medicine, hypertension, gout, arthritis. I met him because he just bought a bike, a Cervelo bike, and then he said he wanted to have a bike fit. And I said, attorney, it's not going to work out. Maybe you can enroll on, let's transform your body first. It's now or never. You can buy all the accessories that you want, but you only have one body. He agreed. On the 20th day, he was surprised. And then from then on, he said, Coach, do you think, I've never had this before. He said, do you think I can do triathlon? I said, yeah, sure. So we trained him for 90 days. 90 days is, that was his day one.
Okay. So our goal is that this tummy will be gone in a few weeks. Okay. So we have a dietary management program, 30 to 45.
And then his classmate is this one, totally obese. And same thing. They said, Coach, do you think we can join IM 70 point? Because I think 70.3 is starting to become a fad. Like everyone just wants to get into it because everyone's doing it. And we want to capitalize on that idea that triathlon is a fun, family-oriented event. And this is his journey. So he started from that, started mountain biking on the right side. So what we wanna showcase here is that training the individual, the physical, you give the body the right type of stimulus, it reacts predictably. Predictably meaning that if the science is factual, it should work for everyone else. This guy would be on a wheelchair. Like literally when we met him, he would be in a wheelchair because of his gout and arthritis. He couldn't walk. He bought a mountain bike you can see. And then, he would be seeing a lot of people joining triathlon, his friends. He would see it on social media. So the Facebook ad went to me because he wanted to have a bike fit. We said, nah, it's not going to be a workout and bike fit. Let's fix your nutrition first. And then after that, we can just transform your body. And the body adapts so fast, like 200% faster if your nutrition and your physiology is ready for the sport. Like you can literally shortcut 1 or 2 years worth of training.
Done. This is a climb. I hope you understand this is a climb. Now it's one.
Coach Leian.
Yeah.
Interesting pictures and impressive, I believe, results that you have for your athletes, right? That you've shown us. Totally impressed about it. I would just like to ask you something. What is a typical week for your athlete? I mean, can you elaborate a bit on in a 7-day period, what are the things that you do when it comes to swimming, biking, or running? So
Right, right.
how many hours do you usually have them train for a week?
Okay. For that particular question, that question is usually given back to the participant. So the normal mainstream question is that how many hours is our training? Usually the coach gives out the number of hours. In this particular program, I mean, it's not very popular. What we do is that we get to talk, and then that question, exactly the question that you're asking me, I throw it back to the customer because he knows his lifestyle, he knows his schedule, he knows better. And then he would write down his daily activity, his social obligations, his everything else. And then my job now is how can I insert whatever training program that should complement his daily lifestyle. So the daily schedule may not be fixed. It's the client who would dictate to the architect, which would be me. And I have, as the consultant, I have to work around to fit in my program as long as the outcome would be in 90 days, I get the result. So it's always a 90-day program. That's the name of the game. And sometimes, to give you an idea, some of the conversation I mentioned to the person is that if you can give me 30 minutes of biking, that's more than enough. 30 minutes of running a day is more than enough. Swimming, because a lot of people, we have to understand, swimming, you have to be part of a swimming club, you have to go far away. If swimming is not possible, what we do is that we call, we teach them a swim hack, meaning that we teach them how to swim in one day just to memorize how it feels like to swim. So on race day, even if you just swim once a week, you'd still be able to finish an Ironman. You're gonna see on the next slides how that works out, because we have to always realize that majority of these individuals were not athletes before. It just so happened that they wanted to use a 70.3 Ironman, and they still cannot drive all the way, especially if you're in Manila. Traffic is crazy. You can't do that, no? So that's the question. I cannot tell you the answer, the exact number of hours. The hours will be dictated by your customer. The idea is that there's no such thing as balance lifestyle. It should complement your lifestyle. Okay.
Agree. Coach, just to follow it up. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it more situational. So
Okay.
say for example, I'm going to approach you.
Okay.
Say maybe 20 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
Working 8 to 12 hours per day. Only have a day off of 1 day per week.
Okay.
And I have maybe 1 hour per day of training that I can dedicate myself to do. So what are the components of this holistic approach that you basically do for your athletes?
Okay.
Very interesting to know really for this.
Okay, let's stick with your statement. So as an architect, I would be sticking to your statement, right? So you said you have only an hour. So the next question would be, why do you want to do this? Okay, so that's first question. If you say because, well, the doctor said I gotta be healthy, so that's a different approach, right? If you say, no, coach, it's in on my bucket list. Before I die, I want to do an Ironman, like a 70.3. We have all the different reasons. The other one's that, well, coach, I just want to have like an Instagram photo to show off to my friends that I'm, in. Okay. So let's just assume the second situation. Coach, I want to have a bucket list. I just want to join an Ironman. It's the in thing right now. And if you tell me that you only have an hour of training to do, then I'm gonna give you the outcome. It's like forecasting. So I always use the corporate environment when you talk, because these individuals, they understand the workplace conversation, right? So if you come to me, you only have an hour of a day of training, I would already tell you right now, if you want to join a 70.3 Ironman, 1 hour a day is more than enough. But this would be your maximum finishing time. So the first thing that you have to tell the individual, if you give me 1 hour, this is the flavor. But if you can give me a little bit of an extra hour, this would be So everything should be proportional. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's just like forecasting in sales in a corporate world. If you say you get 100 calls, the ratio and proportion, out of 100 calls, you get 5 sales. That's just a fact. Okay.
Mhm.
So the next question would be, okay, coach, what equipment do you have, right? What equipment do you have? So the first thing that I advise the clients that don't spend a lot of money on gadgets, let's start with the basics first. So for example, for the bike, you don't have to buy a triathlon bike. Don't get the idea that having a triathlon bike will make you faster. So if you're in a budget, you can use a 35 or 40,000 peso bike. What we do now is focus on your choreography or posture. Number two, you're 20 pounds overweight. Then I say, what if we reduce that 20 pounds in, say, 45 days? Because fortunately, triathlon is very predictable. It's a single sport. It's not a team sport. It's literally just choreography. And we all know that running would decide the outcome of your performance. Even if you run every day, running, just like what Coach Saul mentioned, running is power to weight ratio, right? So I can give you a choice to run 10K a day, or what if I just make you 20 pounds lighter and you still get the same performance running 5K, maybe 4 times a week. And that 5K would be equivalent to running performance of 21K if you were 20 pounds heavier.
Mhm.
There. Okay.
Yeah, go on, coach.
Okay. So this is an example of this guy overweight. If I tested his threshold, his lactate, etc., all his metric, he would have failed. On the bottom part, this part, after 60 days, he's now, riding at 40 kilometers per hour easy.
Shit, man. Almost done. 1 minute to go. I get drunk.
So this is another guy. Met him. This is the sister. Met them. So brothers and sisters. They came to me like zero experience, like literally no idea about triathlon. So I said, okay, let's do your nutrition first, and then we're gonna bike fit you. And this is her after 60 days. She did it. So day one, literally this day one over here, this is when I met them. They don't even know what shifting is. They just bought a skateboard helmet. Like that's how bad it was. This is her. So I'm just gonna show you how we transform a regular client.
Remember, part of the VIP programs is a free bike fit coaching and setting you up. You just want to make sure that everything's going to be fine on your first jump start. No frustration, no injuries, no nothing. And look at how beautiful that area is. Okay, so we're going to be meeting Gabby now and hopefully his sister. And we're just going to be looking for Marvin.
So what we're trying to emphasize here is that there's a VIP coaching program where if it's possible, I fly in or I drive in because I need to find out where you live, and we're going to design a training area dependent on your geography. Okay, we need to find out so that whenever we're doing online coaching, you can describe to me, I can describe to you specifically what courses, what elevation, what not. Yeah?
Yeah, I like your helmet. It matches your bike. Perfect.
So she just literally bought a brand new bike, and you can notice the pedals. If you notice the pedals, they're just BMX pedals. Doesn't know how to use pedals, no idea.
You look like a pro.
Coach Leian, are you playing a video?
Yes.
I think it has a bit of
Paused.
glitch there. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not showing up. So, just while you're fixing it,
Yeah.
you've mentioned earlier that we know for a fact that the training can make you stronger and fit, but majority of your losing weight would be on the diet program.
Correct.
So it's very obvious that you have a good diet program because lots of your athletes impressively lose weight during their time with you.
Right, right.
What are the things that you support for their diet? I mean, do you use some diet programs like the famous diet programs in the internet, or some people that are promoting? So what what are the basic components, and I should say a model that you use for nutrition of your athletes?
Okay. Whenever we approach the athletes, we don't talk about diets because the moment that you talk about diets, they get scared.
Agree?
Right.
Yeah.
Their idea about diet is not eating, not doing this, not doing that. So we want to take that stigma away. What we want to do is that we 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 give the opportunity for the individual to see transformation in his body for the first 3 days, because that's the only way he would think that it's going to be working. So one of the things that we do is that, number one, we have to reset the person's physiology, his biochemistry. When you say reset, well, just like a car, I don't know what words to use to describe this, but it's literally like an overhaul of your car. We try to regenerate your liver, your colon, your kidneys, like literally regeneration. It's basic science. It's called autophagy. And the only way we do that is we also try to change your fuel source from glucose and carbohydrates to your stored fat, which is ketones. And next thing you know, you have 3 times the energy without getting hungry anymore. That's the basic principle. Change your energy source from being sugar-based, which is glucose, to your stored fat phase. And that's the reason why you see some of those participants change their physiology in 90 days. There. And what's the result? Well, you can hold a higher threshold. You can have a lower heart rate because your body doesn't have to work so hard trying to carry all that weight. There's natural anti-inflammatory skill of your body. The body knows how to recover faster instead of having a lot of recovery shakes. So part of the program, no energy drinks, no recovery shakes, no supplements. The most that you can do perhaps is coconut water. So just like what Coach Jaynald mentioned before, it's very normal for us to ride 50 to 100K with no breakfast, no food. And if we finish at 9 a.m., we have to wait at 12 before we start consuming. But you'll be surprised, these individuals don't get hungry anymore. And that's what most of the elite Ironman athletes are doing right now, although it's not really published. So there. That's it.
Yeah, I got it, Coach Leian. So just to remind the audience that we have, Coach Leian still has 5 minutes to go for his discussion. If you have some questions, kindly write it down so that we can ask him after his discussion. Thank you.
Yeah. I think I'm done in a sense. I'm already good. That's the basic idea of the program. I think on my 25th minute already, so I'm good.
No, actually, it's a very interesting topic. I like what you've said when you've mentioned earlier that you are into the market of those untapped people.
Underdogs. Yeah,
The
the
underdogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of can relate to it because some of my athletes here in Doha are like that. Overweight people, don't have any experience. So it's very, very refreshing to know that there are coaches like you who targets these people, because at the end of the day, triathlon will be more open to lots of people if the coaches are like this. And the thing that you've mentioned about the metabolic problems that are staying away from your athletes as soon as they do their program, it's really impressive. So thank you for that, Coach Leian.
No problem.
I think we are on our general discussion right now to
Yeah.
give to give one of the questionnaire to Coach Saul. I like the question of one of our guests from Adel Samson. This is a very interesting topic. Actually, I have the same question. Coach Saul, less ground
Yes, Coach.
contact time. Less ground contact time. Does that translate to higher power output? We know that ground
Yes, Coach.
contact time is a very determining factor when it comes to running. So
Yes, yes.
very nice question from Adel Samson. Thank you.
I believe I answered him through the chat group, but for our viewers on Facebook Live, the answer is no. It doesn't really correlate directly to a higher power output, but a lower ground contact time improves your running economy, okay, your efficiency, so to speak. So you want to lower your ground contact time to improve your running economy, and definitely it will improve your performance, okay, and you have more energy towards the end. And definitely in general in running, especially on miles and on more, it will help you lower injury rates as well.
Mhm. I second that. It's the ground contact time. It's I believe when you lessen the ground contact time, it minimizes also the risk of injury. The efficiency of the pace as well, just like what you've mentioned earlier, Coach Saul. How is it correlated to the power? So I agree with that. With
Thank you,
Coach
Coach.
Jay, I would like you to repeat that answer that you have with the Archer. So he asked you earlier, and I believe that I've asked you too about that, and to have that to have a follow-up question, Coach Jay. Let's make it a little bit of a scenario. So let's say
Okay, go ahead.
I am on my way to doing my first 70.3. 3 weeks before the race, I got sick. What can I do to restart my training? Because definitely it will be a
You know,
puzzle.
that was a very good question. It's common. It is happening, especially when you overstress your body and you don't. First and foremost, why is it you get sick first? Maybe you're overreaching. You didn't allow your body to recover, right? That's another thing to consider, because the common why athletes get sick, right? Because sometimes they're overreaching. They're very keen to do more. Doing more sometimes in the general adaptation theory or the one that I mentioned is not always good. You need your body to recover. Anyway, just a scientific explanation. But the direct answer to that, during that phase, which is we call it the competition phase, right? During the competition phase, within 2 to 3 weeks before the race day, you have already established your fitness level and an endurance level, as mentioned and explained before. During the competition phase, the goal of the competition phase is to maintain and sustain the endurance and fitness level that you have gained and accumulated from the very start. Right? So if you're asking me what, is it related to what will I do? Will I train? Technically, if you're sick, I will not let you train. I will let your body recover. Because this is the common notion, right? I need to do this, I need to do this, especially 1 week, 10 days before. Especially 10 days, Coach B, for the last 10 days. There's nothing that you can do to improve your fitness level within the next 10 days remaining prior to your race day. You have established already all the necessary fitness, the speed, the strength before that. So if you're sick 10 days before, then take rest, recover. Don't worry, your body will recover. Once you stop what you're doing, you keep your body enough rest. Muscle memory, we call it. The fitness level is there. Though, yes, some of them, but again, there's nothing that you can do for the next 10 days to further improve your fitness level. I'm always telling this one to my athletes. What is done has been done.
Mhm.
So all you need to recover now, I remember you discussing this topic few weeks before race day,
Mhm.
race week. So
Mhm.
maybe just a little bit back, few days back, I can correlate your presentation last time. So
Mhm.
same principle. You have established already your baseline, your fitness level in the competition pace in preparation for your race day. You can no longer do anything to further improve your endurance or your fitness level. What you need as of the moment, as per your scenario, you need to rest and recuperate back again so that you can give your body to bounce back and be ready on your race day. So I hope did I answered your question, Coach B.
Yes, yes. I definitely agree, Coach Jay, on what you've said. For me, I have a reflective answer to that also, that I always use the one step forward and two step backward approach when it
Mhm.
comes to training. So basically, if you are uh, running 15K and then all of a sudden you get sick 3 weeks out before your race, it doesn't make sense for you to push yourself to make it 17 or 18.
Yes.
So stay on the 12K, maybe 10K, so that your body will have an active recovery for you to not get sick. Not make yourself not get worse on the sickness that you have, and hopefully you'll be able to get that recovery before the race week. So thank you very much for that, Coach A. For
Yes.
Coach Leon, uh, I have a question for you when it
Yes,
comes to
sir.
recovery, because we are talking about the recovery with Coach Jay. What are the basically for your athletes? What do you do for them to have their recovery? What are the components or the principles you support for your athletes to have a good recovery? I mean, Coach Jay mentioned earlier that he is doing 2 and 1 and then 1-1 unloading and loading week. So how about you? How do you do recovery for your athletes?
Uh, as for the recovery is a very crucial component in any program. The
Agree.
difference now, the difference now, every individual after they get into the nutritional program, every person now has a different rate of recovery, meaning that some people become more resilient. And the idea is how resilient can you be? The number one, what I notice is that the number one aspect of pro athletes is that they can recover faster. That's why they can work out more. No?
Mhm.
So with that in mind, what we focus on is the ability or the skill set on how to train your body to recover fast. So going back to your questions, what we do is that even if we lay out a template program for an individual, so for example, like you, every single time you do the workout, you have to perhaps message me or we talk during the day. Communication is key, like literally every day, because I'll give you a situation. This is my clients, okay? These are the very specific segment, not not us who are very fanatic about the sport. So sometimes, for example, I give you a 5K running with this posture, with this speed. You'd be surprised sometimes the speed is so slow, but what hurts them is the posture. So
Mhm.
overall, the body doesn't really get stressed, but perhaps a ligament starts getting stressed out. Just like
Mhm.
in running, you have to forefoot or whatnot. Um, so his recovery is not really based on the general idea of recovery because you're exhausted. The recovery because one particular muscle group or a tendon or a muscle tissue, we just have to have it adapt. So the difference in the training program is not mileage, it's not distance, it's more on memorizing a choreography. Okay, now assuming that the choreography is perfect, right? And we get into the, let's say, the race month where we start training now. Again, the recovery will be dependent on the person's lifestyle. If I give you a 10K run, and then you have to tell me, coach, tonight I have like a dinner meeting. I have to be home late at 10 p.m. And then we're just going to tell you to skip the workout tomorrow.
Mhm.
Okay, so the difference with this approach, it's so highly customized that it will depend on your lifestyle. That's why if you look at the page, we normally publish a lot of the videos to show individuals that even how busy you are, like literally even if you're a CEO of a company, however busy you are, you can still finish an Ironman race. So if you remember the guy that was really really big, that the last one that I showed you, can I share a screen?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
try to do
quick
this
one, yeah.
like a quick one. Let's say share. Okay, let's see if I can play this. Huh? Can you see it?
Not playing so far.
Okay, I'm gonna play it now. There you go. So this guys, if you notice, they started from this one, and then just after few days, can you see it?
It's not playing, coach.
Oh, it's not working.
I think it's okay. You can just describe it for us. It's okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna stop the sharing. Let's do this one again. Okay, here we go. Okay. So this guy,
Not playing, Coach Leian.
it's not playing.
Yeah, it's okay. You can just describe it.
Okay.
So you've mentioned that it's a very good one of the things that you take into consideration for them to recover is the posture on the run.
Yeah, the posture
And
on the
I'm
run.
sure that you're using posture also on the bike. Yes.
Yes, same with the
That's
bike.
good. Okay.
Okay. So that basically answers the question. In terms of recovery, it's really highly dependent on the individual, taking into consideration his lifestyle stress, because training is stress.
Okay.
Walking around the mall is stress. Yeah.
With regards, thank you so much, Coach Ilan. Coach Saul,
Yes, coach.
with regards to that, we were just talking about the importance of posture, importance of the proper gait when it comes to running.
Yes, coach.
What in the bike when you are trying to put your power up? Sometimes I must admit that even as coaches, we don't have enough technique anymore, and we just
Yeah.
pound the pedal. Yeah.
Yes.
What are the cues that you use for you to maintain the power at the same time maintain the running economy for an athlete? So
Me and Coach Moy has utilized the metronome, so we focus more on one cadence, okay, 100, 175 to 180 steps per minute. So the metronome is very important. Another's, of course, I tell my students that you want to run tall. Okay, the problem with the bike posture, especially time trialing, is you're gonna shrug. So
yes.
after that position for a long period of time, you're gonna run tall. So it's gonna be hard to open up the chest. And you know that if your posture is hunched, then you don't have that space on that area of the stomach, right? Where your diaphragm can really work, and that's the primary breathing muscle. So technically speaking, if you're on a hunch position on your run, then it's hard to breathe, and you're gonna use your intercostals, your shoulders to promote that breathing pattern, and it's gonna be taxing. So I would always tell them to run tall. Okay, feel that there's like a string on your head that's gonna pull you, and feel that run tall motion. Okay, arm swing is very important. The arm swing for me is definitely I want them to brush. Okay, I don't want them to have their elbows flared. Okay, brushing like a rowing motion. Of course, running is an anti-rotation exercise. As you don't want to, when your left foot is forward, you don't want your left hand also forward, right? So you want it contralateral, or I'd say right hand forward, because you don't want to rotate. You don't want to be like a snake and swerving around. Your motion should be forward, so that you shouldn't be, that motion to counteract that rotation is your arms. So definitely for me, those key for me, I want to keep it simple, okay, and not much thinking about it. Of course, there's where your foot will land, and definitely those stuff is another discussion if I may. But yep, those are things that I focus more on. You want to be conscious where your foot will land. Are you pulling? Are you pushing on your running? Coach Moy can, I think, answer that for me better. He's our proficiency coach. But yes, when I was coaching the OCR team, and we have track sessions, I look into those things and I tell them privately, and try to address them on the next set.
Mhm. That running tall concept, I think, is a very I can't elaborate it more. Even the elite athletes are doing it, So it's very good. Thank you so much, Coach Saul, about that. Coach Jay, so I think this would be my last question for you guys, and I would like to be more on a situational thing on this, Coach Jay.
Go ahead.
Say, for example, I am an athlete. I have a weakness on the swim. I have a weakness on the swim. I am a good biker and a runner. But the problem, the swim for me, the swimming pool, or the nearest swimming pool for me is around 1.5 hours away. So what do you advise for me to do if in order for me to have a good periodization? So it's kind of a situational thing.
Yes. In terms of long swim, right? Especially depends upon how what is your level in swimming, Coach B. So just if you will try to be specific, because you may have a background, you may be a beginner or you're an intermediate athlete.
Maybe.
What was your question?
You're
a beginner or intermediate?
I'm in the intermediate athlete.
So at least that makes the big difference. You're intermediate. The muscle memory is there. You can have, depends upon the availability of time, right? But if we will correlate it to periodization, at least there are some other options. Because you know me, we were discussing it the other day. I'm a believer of the Taisuto coaching as well, wherein the strength can be simulated in the actual exercise. If I don't have anything, wherein I do the paddles to increase my muscle mass, if I'll be given the option to swim and to go to the gym to improve my muscles, I will use the paddles.
Yeah, that's good.
Rather than going to the gym and do the bench press, right? I will do that one. That's what I have been using, really, because I believe in that if you want to improve, even same as well in the bike, you want to improve my muscles, I'll do low cadence exercise. I may do some squat, but I don't have to go to the gym and do some squat. Yeah. But going back to the swimming, so it's 1.5 hours. Is it really impossible for him to do swimming on a weekly basis? That's another one. Because there are so many options, alternative exercises, right? I can hit him in the gym. We can prescribe him. These are the swimming exercises that you can do on land. But at the end of the day, I do believe, I really advocate that if you want to simulate, as per one of the, from Joe Frail himself, one of his article he mentioned, if you want to simulate the actual exercise, you want to do the specific discipline. Because that covers or mimics the actual stress in this specific muscle group. I know there are options. Some coaches are believers of strengthening and core. I'm not arguing on that one. There's no argument or discussion on that. But just like what I said, swimming. How can you learn how to swim if you're not in the pool? Simple explanation, simple example. How can you swim if you're not in the swimming pool or you're not in the water?
I've asked you that question because I had the same experience for that same kind of problem. I used to have an athlete before who's based in Texas. So in Texas, there's not much of I think they only have lake there. So one of the things that I do
Still the water.
one of the things that I do for his periodization is every time he will have a time for him to do the swim, so he will go there, ride for 1.5 hours. I will try to incorporate a short run with him. So do the bricks session. So for all of those athletes right now that listening to us, the periodization plan that you have would be very efficient if you will be able to maximize those sessions together. So the use of brick sessions would be very good.
Yes.
Coach Burns,
Yes, Coach Moy.
can I
Tell
add to
me.
it? Sorry, can I add to it?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, our
Mr.
swim
Talk-
coach. Go ahead.
Since we're talking about the swim, we know that swim is highly kinesthetic. So, which means
Yes.
in order for you to get it, you have to do it. So, which means I agree that there are strength and conditioning coach. It actually helps. But if you can see, most of the strength and conditioning is basically designed to mimic the swim position. So, for those people that have difficulty in going to the pool, the best way to probably to do it is to do a strength and conditioning mimicking the position and the movement of the swim itself. So there are other movements which strength and conditioning coach had introduced, but since swimming is probably a little bit unique to the other two sports, he's highly kinesthetic. So you want to create a strength and conditioning movement very close or similar to what you're doing in the pool. So it's so hard.
We can
Yes,
call
sir.
it functional swim, maybe.
Yes,
Functioning
it can
swim,
be
yeah.
qualified as functional swimming, or you can actually position yourself very close to what you're doing to the pool. So it's my point, and probably could shed a little light on those who have problem in going to the pool, especially now that we are in a pandemic situation.
Thank you so much for that, Coach Moy. I think you guys can open up your microphones and your camera. I mean, we cannot thank all of you enough. We have a little bit of a glitch earlier when we start. What a glitch it has. But we are triathletes. We are very resilient, you know. We bend on this kind of things, and we had a very nice discussion shared by our great coaches, Coach Saul, Coach Leian, Coach Jaynald. Thank you very much. Coach Walks,
Yes.
you can close our floor.
Yeah. It was a really long day for us, interesting sessions, which made
Well,
more.
thank you very much for Press Walks. Thank you very much for all the listeners who were there from the beginning. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for all those. If those were not able to get in the Zoom, so you can watch it again on the Facebook Live. It will be there available. So, and also, yeah, we would like to thank everyone and all those coaches who shared their experiences and knowledges. So, hope to have you again back here in the TRITALK series. And to Coach Moy also for sharing your swimming techniques. So, guys, so thank you very much. So, hope to see you again and stay safe until we get back again on the race and training.
Thank you. Thank you. Until
Thank
then.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, coaches. Thank you, Coach Lian, Coach Jay, Coach Cole.
Coach Lian,
Anong
thank you.
oras? 11 o'clock.